Hello, welcome to another episode of Stories of World War II Veterans. My name is Kayleen Reusser. Each week I will read to you a story from one of the books I have written after interviewing 260 World War II vets. Today's story will come from book one in my World War II Legacies series called We Fought to Win. American World War II veterans share their stories. Today's story, excuse me, is about Richard Vanderwall, who served in the Navy in the Pacific. Before I go any further, I do want to say thank you to all of our vets who are watching. We wouldn't be free without you. By the time our ship reached Pearl Harbor on December 12, 1941, oil from the explosions of American ships was 3 inches thick on the water, said Richard Vanderwall of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Vanderwall was a seaman second class assigned to the cruiser USS Indianapolis in the United States Navy. His duties included keeping the ship's log and being stationed on the bridge above 2 batteries of 8-inch guns. Such a position would result later in permanent hearing loss in one of his ears. The Indianapolis was on its way to Johnston Island, 700 miles southwest of Honolulu, when the attack occurred at Pearl Harbor on December 7th. Upon hearing of the Japanese attack, the ship turned toward the island to aid where needed. The battle was nearly over, but at 1800 hours on December 12th, a Japanese sub fired on the Indianapolis. Thankfully, it missed. One of our destroyers blew him out of the water, said Vanderwall. Born on a Potawatomi Indian reservation in Delia, Kansas in 1921, Vanderwall graduated from high school in Soldier, Kansas in 1939. The Depression made it nearly impossible for him to find a job. His father had been a sailor with the U.S. Navy during World War I. He recommended Richard join the military and be guaranteed a paycheck. Vanderwall passed all of his tests at the recruiting station in Topeka and enlisted in the Navy in February of 1940. Vanderwall completed basic training at Great Lakes Training Center near Chicago. Today it is called the Naval Station Great Lakes. He was assigned to 120 Company G. Vanderwall was sent to Treasure Island Naval Base in San Francisco, where he was assigned to the USS Maryland. In May of 1940, the crew set out for Honolulu. During the 2,200-mile trip, Vanderwall acquired his sea legs. "I was never sick," he said. He had received a New Testament Bible from his mother and read it along the way. At Pearl Harbor, Vanderwall was transferred to the Indianapolis. By September of 1942, his rank was quartermaster second class. The American Navy, though damaged heavily by Japan's destruction at Pearl Harbor, recovered. In February of 1942, on the island of New Britain at Rabaul, Japanese bombers attacked American ships, including the Indianapolis. The ships escaped damage while shooting down Japanese planes with anti-aircraft fire, aided by fighter planes in the area. Another naval battle for Vanderwall took place at Kiska, Alaska. The Japanese had captured Kiska, part of the Aleutian Island chain, on June 6, 1942. It was the first Japanese campaign to successfully overtake American soil. The next day, the Japanese captured the nearby island of Attu. In October, the crew of the Indianapolis and other American vessels fired on the Japanese troops at Kiska. The Japanese returned fire, but Allied forces finally gained control of the island in 1943. Vanderwall and other soldiers involved in the skirmish earned a battle star for the endeavor. Danger did not always come in the form of enemy fire. In November of 1942, Vanderwall's ship encountered a typhoon with 15-foot waves and winds of 100 knots, or 115 miles per hour, that lasted for 2 days. "We were approaching the Unimak Pass in the Aleutian chain," said Vanderwall. Despite bad weather, we cleared the pass and kept the ship steady. In 1942, Vanderwall was reassigned to the cargo ship USS Tularón at the Treasure Island near San Francisco. During 1944, Vanderwall was sent to Washburn University in Topeka and later University of Notre Dame in Indiana to enroll in courses for aeronautical engineering. At Notre Dame, he met a young woman named Irma, who was a hostess at the Servicemen's Center. Hostesses danced and provided conversation with soldiers. Irma left the center with a date, but returned to dance with Vanderwall. The two kept in touch following Japan's surrender in August 1945. Vanderwall was discharged in February of 1946, and he and Irma married in April of 1946. Vanderwall used his GI Bill to attend Washburn University. By the time he graduated in 1949, he and Irma had become parents to 2 children. They would later add 4 more. Richard Vanderwall became an insurance salesman working in LaPorte, Muncie, Fort Wayne, and Minnesota. Richard and Irma retired in Fort Wayne. "I am proud to have been involved as an American sailor in World War II," he said. "The experiences I had at that time have been with me all of my life." In 2011, Richard Vanderwall participated in honor flight for Northeast Indiana. Now, that was a story of Richard Vanderwall, who's actually pictured right here on the cover of my book, We Fought to Win. American World War II veterans share their stories. I'm Kayleen Reusser, and I am just thrilled to support the military in this way by sharing stories from men and women that I have interviewed. Please go to this website, YouTube channel, and subscribe. Tell others about it. It'd be a good opportunity for those who have vision impairment to listen and learn more about our amazing veterans. Take care, and I'll see you next week.